Hello again, 'tis I, octogenarian. Let's go back maybe 50 years. Who wants to go back 50 years? Well, you never know. You may learn from the past. Okay, stop joking. Let's talk about Broadway theater once again. This time I'm going to recall some of the shows I saw, particularly those that for some reason or other stuck in my mind. For example, I always remember the comedians Burt Wheeler and Burt Law in separate shows would come in at the very beginning of the show, hat and coat, take off the coat, take off the hat, and flip the hat to a hat rack, maybe, I don't know, 25 feet away. They never missed. I wonder if that was some kind of a trick involved. Anyway, that's one thing I remember. There were a couple of funny guys, and those were the days of the blackout. Not the blackout you're thinking of, but the blackout in the theater. When someone makes a point, a very important point, a punchline, somebody makes a strong punchline, and to emphasize it, the lights go out. Now another way that always struck me as sort of a cop-out was ending a scene or an act with a curse word. And that would be another blackout situation. I believe, if I remember correctly, there was there's a good example in My Fair Lady. Our heroine has become a great lady, and a beautiful lady, a well-spoken lady, and she goes to the racetrack where high society is congregated, and she's watching the horse race, and apparently her horse is not doing too well, and suddenly she shouts out, "Move your bloomin' horse!" Blackout. In the movie, the scene ends abruptly. It's a very similar concept. In the theater was a blackout, in the movie, a new scene. That always bothered me, that ending an act with a curse word. It shows a lack of imagination. Okay, now I mentioned the two Burts when they came out taking their coats off. There was another comedian, none other than Milton Berle, who I recall at a rally, Bond rally, and in Madison Square Garden, no less, huge crowd. There was a temporary platform built, and Milton Berle's introduced, and he bounds up the steps, full of energy and full of, the crowd is roaring. Takes his hat and coat off and he throws it on the deck, rushes over to the microphone and says, "Good evening, ladies and germs." Don't ask me why I remember that, but I remember the excitement Milton Berle generated. Okay, now let's see what else can I say that can match all of that. Well, there's Basil Rathbone. I saw him in a so-called, I guess it was a drawing room comedy, as they were called in those days, of doings of high society, fluffy, inconsequential story. I may be wrong. Anyway, he comes out at the very beginning, Basil Rathbone. Apparently he forgot his lines. He doesn't freeze and say, look around for he starts sprouting words, meaningless words, one after another, until finally he calms down and he gets into the theater piece. That was very unusual, I must say. I saw a show called Ladies Not for Burning. This was an English production, imported, and it was a British cast, and it was a story that took place in medieval times, I believe. And I didn't understand pretty much what the British actor and actress was saying, I must confess. With one exception, there was a young man who had some lines to speak, but not too many. Big voice, baritone, clear as a bell, understood every word. Now, for years and years I've said, I bet that was Richard Burton. And sure enough, I looked up on the internet, and that young man was Richard Burton. Perhaps that was his first Broadway show in New York. Bell, Book and Candle with Rex Harrison proved to be an interesting, fun show. It was later became a movie, successful movie with Rex Harrison. A musical was Cole Porter's Can Can. I thought it was a pretty lightweight, not too significant musical. There was this song, I love Paris in the springtime, I love Paris in the fall, I love Paris, why oh why do I love Paris? I said, that's Cole Porter. That's not Cole Porter at his best. Anyway, I do remember the dancing, of course the can-can, mandatory can-can, but more than that there was Gwen Verdon, the red-headed, delightful performer, whose great personality just came across the screen. She was a great dancer, and I enjoyed her. And then we have a sad moment. That was Harvey. A sad moment because the story of this huge rabbit, I forget how big was it, 8 feet or something like that. The stage production was performed by Frank Fay. He was a comedian that time, and I always enjoyed watching him. His unusual style, laid back, he tells stories. I don't know if I saw him on TV or in movies. Anyway, he became a favorite of mine, and I thoroughly enjoyed him in Harvey. And the movie came out, and no Frank Fay. I was sorry to see that he didn't get the role. Jimmy Stewart got it, of course. Okay, I think I'm going to wind it up there. I'm just going to tell one more story. I was dating a young lady, or I thought I was going to ask a young lady out. So I bought two tickets to a show on Broadway. But the lady, to my amazement, how could she do such a thing? Couldn't go with me. So I called up the theater and I said, I'd like to return the tickets. They said, yeah, sure, I was delighted. Come in, we'll refund your tickets. Now it turns out that the show was none else but A Streetcar Named Desire, Marlon Brando. What can I say? Blackout.